The show's about to start.
Everyone, welcome to a new episode of No Conduct Radio. Tonight we are discussing racial stereotypes based on something that happened on last week's show. So I'll go through that later, what happened on last week's show. But we're discussing racial stereotypes. What are they, and why do they even exist? So tonight we should be joined by Logic, BJ, Char, and of course me, Kai. Right now, I am the only one here. I don't know what's going on with everyone else, but I am the only one here. And I want to kind of give you AC update. So the AC repair guy hasn't come yet to repair my air conditioner. It's been over a week, so let's say a week and maybe a week and a half that I've been without AC. Thank God it's been really cool up here for the past couple days. Well, the past week, actually. Today's really the first day it's really been hot, and I bet you can't guess what the temperature is in my house right now. It is 90 degrees, 90 degrees. I actually had to go and dip my head in water, and now I'm sitting in front of the fan. I'm pretty sure you could hear it. So now I'm sitting in front of the fan, and it feels so good. So if I get pneumonia, you know whose fault it is. But whatever. My hair's wet. The fan is blowing on it to make me even more cool. And this currently feels lovely. But yeah, that's the update on my AC. I don't know how people do without AC in the summer, but it's freaking hot. And the funny thing is, in the islands, this is the normal temperature. So back in the day, 90 degrees wouldn't affect me at all. But nowadays, since I've moved to the north and I've gotten acclimated to, I guess, the summers up here, the springs, the falls, and the winters, I can't deal in this weather anymore. It's way too hot for me. So hopefully, send good vibes my way. And hopefully by tomorrow my AC will have been fixed. So that's what I'm hoping. So usually I ask one of my co-hosts what they've seen in the news last week, and I've been way too busy to even pay attention to the news. So I haven't really seen what's going on. But I do know I have seen like an increase. Well, to me it seems like it, but I think it's more like it always happens, and now we just have cell phones to record it. So, I've just been seeing a lot of racial issues happening in the news. So, like, for instance, I don't know, this couple went to barbecue, or they went to eat. They went to have a picnic. That's what it was. They went to have a picnic in a park, and some woman stopped, jumped out of her car to run across the street to tell them to get out of the park. Another one was a park ranger. She pulled her gun, and was like, "What are you doing here?" Like, she didn't even say, whatever, you were supposed to sign it or anything. She just immediately jumped out of a car with a gun and was like, "Get out of the park." And then they found out that they didn't need a permit, even though the woman was saying they needed a permit. They actually didn't need a permit to be there. So the woman, the park ranger, actually got fired for that. But how scary is that? Like, you're just chilling, with your dog, your wife, you're just having a nice day in a park, and some woman just jumps out with a gun pointed at you, and the only reason is because you're black and minding your business. So, hey, Char.
Hey, guys. I'm here.
It's just you and me. I don't know what's up with the guys.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that's okay. We can do it. We've done it before. Girls rule the world anyway, so we can definitely, get started without them. How are you, Kai?
I'm good. I was just talking about like some racial issues that I've been seeing going on in the news because we're going to be talking about racial stereotypes later on in the show. So did you hear about that couple that they were in a national park and they're just, with their dog chilling, and the park ranger jumped out of her truck with her gun pulled and asked them, like, what were they doing there?
Actually, my version I heard was they were having a picnic, and they just rolled up. The park ranger rolled up on them. But either way, they were just minding their business while black. I think, is that the problem? Just trying to enjoy nature.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my God! How did it end up though? Where did it go from there? After she confronted them.
Well, they were basically telling her, hey, we didn't know. The woman was like, well, you needed a permit to be here. They're like, why did you have a gun pulled? So, she was like, oh, I'm sorry. She put away the gun. She was like, yeah, you need a permit to be here. They were like, okay, well, that's all you had to say. So they gathered their stuff, got their dog, and started walking out of the park. But on the way out of the park, you passed the park ranger building or whatever. So they went in there, and they were like, one of the park rangers pulled a gun on us, and she said we needed a permit, but we are sorry. We didn't know we needed a permit, but we're just coming to report that a gun was pulled on us. And then the guy who was in there, who actually happened to be that park ranger's husband, was like, you don't need a permit to be in here. You don't need a permit to have a picnic or do anything here. So what ended up happening
was embarrassing.
Yeah.
My husband is like, what?
Yeah, so what ended up happening was that park ranger was fired. But then my question is, so that was her husband who said that, right? So my question is, what if you find out that your wife or your husband is racist?
Was a racist?
What do you do?
Right.
Like there were no indications that this person was racist before. And then something like this happened. They just, somebody complains about them like, hey, yeah, she just pulled a gun out of us. We weren't doing anything. And you ask a bunch of questions because, of course, it's not something you're going to believe. And you find out that, no, these people weren't in the wrong. It's your spouse who was in the wrong. So now you found out the person that you're with is racist. What do you do?
Oh, my gosh. That would be a sad realization. Because that means the person that you've devoted your life to, decided to spend the rest of your life with is not who you thought they were. And that also means that you might have very different, morals, and just things that you grew up with. Just things that's something very deep that you should know about someone. I mean, it's not like that's an interview when you're dating question or anything like that, but it would be a very sad realization because to me it would change the way that I view you, like how, just in general, whether the maid is, of the same race or opposite race, it still would make me think, who are you really behind who I thought you were? Like, who are you? Because if you were harboring this, how did I not see it? And what else are you thinking about people in the world? And, it would just raise a lot more questions. And depending on how you're raised, it could be a cause for divorce, depending on how you're raised and who you are. How sensitive you are, too, I should say, to those issues, So, yeah. I'm just assuming they're both.
I mean, if you're any kind of person with any kind of morals, that would be a definite issue. And I would think if I can't, I guess maybe I would try, just like I would with anybody else, I would try to talk sense into them, like why you shouldn't be racist and how stupid it is and stuff. But if you cannot talk the person out of being racist, can't talk any sense into them, then I would say it's grounds for divorce.
Well, what if, and this is devil's advocate on this end, so, yes, of course we're assuming that it may be because they're black, but what if the park ranger literally is just psycho, and she just, like RoboCop type of thing in her head, she's just like, I'm the superhero of the park, I keep order, I keep law.
If that's the case, she would have been reported many, many times before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it wouldn't be the first time she pulled a gun out for a permit. Yeah. So you have to narrow it down to the obvious.
If it's something as simple as you're saying they need a permit, then somebody, if it wasn't a racial issue, somebody would have reported her before, because I'm pretty sure, a lot of people do that. Especially
and then
the
she would have been
you
fired
don't need one.
Before. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not under handbook, I'm sure. So you said she was fired, is that correct? Was she fired?
Yeah, she's fired.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was so stupid after that.
And I'm pretty sure she was only carrying her own gun. It was her own personal gun, not the park, like a park issued pistol or something like that.
Well, it wasn't a state park.
Oh.
It was a
state park?
campground. No, it was a Campgrounds of America, which is like a private company that has land all over the United States, and they just, you make an appointment. Well, not make an appointment, but you take out a reservation and you can go park your RV there, and you can chill. So it wasn't a federally run thing. This was just a regular employee.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Char, there's no reason why it wouldn't be racism.
My question is, why was there no criminal charges levied against her? You can't just pull a gun on somebody for no threatening reason.
Opposed to just being fired. That's true.
Just fired is ridiculous to me.
Right. Mm-hmm. I didn't think of that logic. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Because if it were any other situation in any other place, time, or just the entire scenario itself, there would absolutely be some charges. Charges would be, they're facing charge. I mean, you just can't just go pulling guns. That's attempted murder, isn't it? Isn't that what that's called? Or what is that called? You pull a gun on someone?
No, that's called brandishing. You can't brandish your weapon in a threatening manner for no reason.
Okay. Mhm. Wow, that's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
You know what, Kai? You were talking about that incident with this black couple, and this is not totally a segue, but a little bit. You made me think about the Dominican Republic. I just saw something this morning about this couple from Jersey who went to the Dominican Republic to, just for a wonderful vacation. They had such a nice time, apparently. Met some new friends from Nova Scotia, decided to keep in touch, blah, blah, blah. And they turned up missing on the way to the airport. They rented a rent-a-car, and they turned up missing, but I think in two different places. This body's over here, that's over there. And foul play is all over the place. So I'm saying, if that could also have been a racist crime or not, but you just never know.
That's completely different. That's not I don't believe that's a racist crime. It's just you're going to a country that has, and I'm not going to even say a poor country because I don't think Dominican Republic is a poor country, but you're going to a country that has a lot of poor people, and even though our legal system isn't the best here, people's legal system is even worse. So you're going to a country like that, you're a tourist, That's not a racial crime. That's a tourist crime.
Well, the reason I said that, Kai, is according to this report I was looking at on YouTube, they were saying that there's a rash of crimes against black people that are visiting. For some reason, particularly with African Americans and black people.
I mean, it could
and
be,
they gave like account after account, Mm-hmm.
I saw one of the people in the past week, I think, or 2 weeks. I've seen 3 issues in the Dominican Republic, but one of the people, or one or two of the couples I saw was white.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, that couple Char is talking about. I think they were from New York, and they found out there was
you're right. Mount Vernon. Yeah, you're right. Mount Vernon. Mm-hmm.
They found out there was no foul play. What happened was they were leaving the night of their I think they had a flight really early in the morning. So instead of leaving earlier in the day, they waited until later on in the night. The wife was kind of urging the dude, like, let's leave now. But for some reason, he didn't want to leave immediately or whatever. So when they left, the people told them, like, that stretch of road is, is not the safest. So, you might want to leave now. Again, he didn't want to go. So when they left, what happened was they found the car over a bluff. And there's a part in that highway that goes from where they were to where the airport is that's really, like, zigzaggy and treacherous. And so what happens is they think that they lost control of the vehicle and went over the edge.
Oh, my God.
And that's what happened.
That's what happened? Oh. Okay,
like
they're
the
definitely
guy,
taking it as a conspiracy. Okay, I hear you.
I can't remember which one, but one fell out of the car, and they
Yeah,
found
over
their
the
body
bluff.
immediately, and then the other one was found in the vehicle, which
Oh,
was
I
in like
see
the
what you're
ocean.
saying. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know. You know what? I don't know why it was pegged as a conspiracy. This particular report that I saw, but of course, people will make up any conspiracy if they don't have the information. What you're saying just makes more sense to me. Literally, they did warn them. They did say that part. They did say you don't want to travel that road late at night. You know what I mean? They said that, and not to mention, it's just you're in a foreign country. You don't even know where you're going in the first place, and then it's anywhere between 2 and 4 a.m. or what have you. And it's a long 2-hour plus drive, and it's just it all was just so uncertain anyway. And then I think they said there's some drinking involved, not necessarily with the driver, but they could have been drinking obviously earlier. So sometimes that clouds the judgment anyway. So of course it does. What I'm saying sometimes. So okay, well I guess that wasn't a connection at all to our other story, but just an unfortunate mishap with the black couple from New York.
Well, the funny thing is, I know someone who just said they went to the Dominican Republic on vacation, and they wanted to move there. And it's like, soon as that person told me that, I'm just seeing all these murder, death things about the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
I'm like, you may want to reconsider that.
Yeah, the timing of them making that announcement is when you start seeing all these. Yeah. Oh my God! There was another account, and I know this is not what we're supposed to talk about. I'm sorry, Kai, and I'll make it really quick. But there was another account with the Dominican Republic, a really beautiful resort somewhere over there, and apparently the wife said, "Oh, let's get room service. We're hungry." And then they kept calling and calling, and room service didn't answer the phone. So the wife was like, "Okay, let me go downstairs, and I'll just get something from downstairs." Well, I think the restaurant was closed. So then she's like, "Well, I'll just walk over to the next building to get something to eat." She's attempting to walk to the next building. She said that someone bludgeoned her over the head from behind, dragged her down a flight of stairs, kicked her in the head, literally beat her up, threw her into some kind of other, I don't know, area. I don't know where it was, and she ended up somewhere else 8 hours later. But then I guess someone found her and put her in the hospital, but she was just holding on to death. Because unfortunately he raped her. What's my point? He raped her, and then all that happened. And this is over just. So what I'm saying is that we all have to be careful, because if you're at a resort and you can't just go get something to eat in the next building over, I mean, my God, And she said she thought it was odd that it wasn't anyone. There was no one else walking around.
Was it night?
Yes, it was definitely at night. She said it wasn't that late. That's why she was
surprised.
Okay, well,
I mean, that's closed. Anywhere. That's like anywhere. If you're a woman, as much as women like to act like we can do it just like men do, whatever. If you're a woman, you don't go out at night by yourself. Like, duh.
But she was on the property,
though.
She
would gone out at night by
herself.
Over.
Well,
I don't care.
She didn't plan to leave her building. Remember, she was literally going downstairs because room service was closed. I mean,
did she have a dude?
So? Yeah. She told her husband. Imagine this.
Where was he?
Go ahead. In the room, because imagine if I tell you I'm going downstairs, and then I realize, oh shoot, it's closed.
I know, but I'm just trying to understand. Like, if my girl, we were trying to eat, and she says, number one, room service is not answering. I don't know why my move isn't then to call the front desk and say, yo, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go investigate. That's not my job. I paid money to be here, and somebody else needs to investigate.
Right.
But if for some reason I decided to bypass that step, my girl is not going to be like, oh, I'm going to go check in. Okay, I'll just stay here. And no. I'll go check. If anybody checks, I'll go check.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Or shouldn't she have at least called? Okay, honey, guess what? You know what? This restaurant's closed. I'm
no.
building.
No. That's how horror movies go, where we're going to split up, and I'll just call you. And no, if anything, it's going to be a we situation. Like, okay,
right.
Let's both go over to the next building or down the street. That's crazy to me.
Oh, so you guys think it really could have been avoided because it was just a simple matter of just using common sense. It's not that serious. It's that hungry to
it's
go
just
together.
an issue of safety.
Yeah.
I mean, even in my hometown, I'm not gonna. You know, if my girl starts to get her clothes on at 2 a.m, first question is, where are you going? No, I'm just going to go down the street. And, no, you're not. Mm-mm. What do you need?
Right.
I'll go get it, or I'll drive you.
Yeah. That's true. Well, you know, it's a shame because she was.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, some people would think that that's you doing that. Some people would think that that's sexist. Like, you don't have to drive me. I can take care of myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would think that until they get knocked over their head and raped, and now they got that thing to live with for the rest of their life. And I'm pretty sure that some dude telling them you ain't going nowhere without me watching your back will sound a little bit more gallant.
Like, I'll be okay. I'm fine. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go next door and get us something to eat. I mean, my God, what could possibly happen, you know? And that's what she was, I'm sure that's what she was saying. Wow. Yeah, Kai, you might want to tell that story to your friends. I hate to say it, but you might want to send them to do not go to dr.com right now.com will say it like a website. Don't go to dr.com. I mean, no, I'm just saying moving, like visiting is one thing to visit a country for a vacation, but moving and relocating is a whole different animal, a whole other set of risks, and that's scary to me. You know, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
that
I would,
for me to move.
Country. For me to move, I would definitely have to research the place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It would really have to be some research behind it. What's the crime like? What city is the best city to move to? A bunch of stuff. And then if I know people from that place, then my question to them is, why haven't you gone back? Because I know how proud people are about where they came from. So why are you here? That's my next question. When was the last time you went home? Or do you still have family there? And why haven't you been back? And that's how I would
a lot of them say
because I know a lot of people from the Dominican Republic, and they're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
But I was gonna say, actually talking about how the natives had told that couple, don't go down this road. It's not safe and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mom's from a foreign country, and she's like, she remembers you would tell the tourists, like, don't go out after 6. Don't go to this part of the island at 9 p.m. or whatever.
Wow.
And she was like, you know, sure enough, you would never see those people again, but they wouldn't listen. They would just be like, oh, ho, ho, oh, you know, you're just the natives. You all are afraid of everything. Ha, ha, ha. And then you would just never see those people again.
Terrible. Wow.
But no, that's
they
what
have
it
fair
is.
warning,
You know,
too.
people always think they know best. Like the natives are telling you, don't do this. You know what? If somebody who's from there is telling me don't go here, guess what I'm not doing?
Exactly. They grew up there, know exactly what to do and not do. That's a shame to not listen. And even stateside, people are warned when they're new to a city. Don't go to that side of town at this particular time at night, and don't. People just think they're superheroes, and that's how they end up dead too. I mean,
dude, seriously, even in Philly, I know people because I'm not from here. So the people who are from here and they know my personality, they told me, I know where not to go. They say, don't go here, I don't go there, and that's it. If I'm not sure of the place, I actually send a text out, hey, I'm going here and here, crossroads of here and here. Is that a good place to go? Like, I don't play. I don't know. I don't know why people don't listen, but hey. So, Logic, we didn't catch up with you. What's going on? How's it going? Why were you late? Detail.
I don't know. I think I just got busy living my life. And got here.
Wow.
Yeah, but the question is, are you living your best life?
Yeah, more or less.
Oh, come on. I still got 2 points for that. That was too cool. Are you living your best life?
Yeah, -1 point. Yes, Lord.
And Logic was like, yeah.
I think BJ's living his best life. And this is the second time in a row he's too famous for us. Good Lord, BJ.
Oh,
well,
wow.
too famous would be not showing up.
He's signing autographs. You guys know that.
I said being too famous would be not showing up.
Right. You know, when you're
he
you're
hasn't
too
shown
good
up.
for you're too sexy for your this and that, you don't show up. You just don't.
Yeah,
First, you're either fashionably
he's too
late,
good for us. He's just not
or you
here.
don't show up. Right. Altogether.
It's fine, BJ.
Wow.
We don't need you anyway.
But what made y'all? Why was y'all talking about the Dominican Republic?
I segued. It was my fault. Kai, do you want to pick up for where? I mean, rewind where we were with the park with the black couple, the black family in the park and all that.
I was going to see how long it took her to get that sentence out.
I couldn't think of how I wanted to say it because I thought Logic heard that part, honestly. That's why I was like, well, should I say the whole thing or just, the whole intro or let her? I thought he heard that part, actually. Because didn't you come in, Logic, when we were talking about? No? Oh, okay.
No, but I'm familiar with the story now.
Oh, okay.
So anyways,
yeah,
what we were just talking about was I was trying to, since we're talking about racial stereotypes tonight, like later on tonight, I was trying to think about some examples of this happening in the news in recent times within like the last month, for instance. So I thought of the couple who was picnicking in that park, and then Char brought up the Dominican Republic. Do you have any examples of racial stereotypes like in the last month?
Logic, that was to you.
I was like,
that's what I was like. Hello, Logic.
No, hold on. I'm trying to adjust my earpiece here because it started staticking.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, BJ. Apparently, he isn't too famous for us. He just joined us. Hey, BJ.
Hi, BJ.
Yeah.
Are you too sexy for Thursdays sometimes?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Hi.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Say that one more time, Kai.
Okay. So my question is, since we're discussing racial stereotypes later on in the show, do you have any example of any racial stereotypes that has happened, like in the news, within the past month?
The past month. I can't think of anything. Mm-mm.
Okay, BJ. So are we just getting to be that good of a nation?
No, I try not to watch the news that much. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while, so.
Well,
I'm trying to think what's been going on.
I know.
And that's my issue. I've been too busy to actually watch or read the news. I normally do weekly, but I really haven't.
All I've been hearing about is trade wars.
Yeah, the stuff that's happening with Trump. Anyways, yeah, that's all I know about, but I haven't really been following the news.
Recently that's annoyed me is the fact that Trump shut down travel to Cuba again after Obama opened it back up, which I don't understand what the reason for that was.
But why did he do that? What was the point in doing that?
I don't know. I mean, he stopped everything, like educational travel.
But it's not fighting Obama. Obama's
cruising.
not president. Obama did his term.
He still won't leave us
getting
alone.
money. He's living his fame.
Yeah, but Trump's been all over him since the beginning of his term, of Trump's term. You know that. Anything Obama puts into action that's positive, he has to, shut it down or recreate it, reinvent it in his mind better. So that's not true. It's ridiculous. This guy is just so. Okay, go ahead, Logic, because I feel like I'm ranting now. I'm just. Oh, how many more years we have with him again?
I was just saying that. I mean, that's not really a racially motivated thing that you can prove, but I know that's the only thing in the news lately that's annoyed me by hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? What was the reason for that?
Right. Any logical reason?
There's absolutely no reason for that. And then, I mean, hopefully he's voted out. What is it? Next year, right?
How
next
much more time do we
year?
have, guys? A year? Yeah, but a whole full year, right? Until when? 2021 or 2020?
2020.
No, I think it's. Oh, it is 2020, right? But November. That's going into 21, though. Yeah,
but
but you might as well
if
call it 21.
he is not voted back in again. Because, I mean, have you seen the clowns that's running? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, right. The clowns.
I mean, impeachment is obviously not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know what?
I really thought it was, I'm surprised that it wasn't.
What I don't understand is it seems to be it's something. It's definitely a weird shift going on. Republicans have pretty much stayed the same. You know, even with this whole abortion ban stuff and all that, they're pretty much still as radical as they've always been. Like, I'm not shocked by any of the states that I've heard have adopted this abortion ban. But when it comes to Democrats, it's like you'll have people like Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, where they're not really, you don't even know who they really are as people. You know, what they really stand for. They're just saying stuff that's relevant right now, but you don't really get a good idea. Like Joe, I don't know why people are trying to act like Joe is such a great whatever. He's just Obama's vice president, you know, and everything he's done before as a politician, he's been in the way of segregations of schools. He didn't like the idea of that, and this dude was in Delaware. He wasn't below the Mason-Dixon line. You know what I mean? He was in the North talking like that. He's always been a middle-of-the-road guy. Like, I'm just going to say enough Republican stuff to get money and say enough Democratic stuff to be a Democrat. So it's like, why? All of a sudden are people trying to act like Uncle Joe is the way to go? Like, come on, man. And then you got Elizabeth Warren. She's pandered before, like, oh, I'm such a Native American, so I know. You don't know anything. You've been living the life of a white woman. What are you talking about? Stop it. Why would you even say that? It's ridiculous. And then you got Andrew Yang talking about. Huh?
That woman you just mentioned, that's not the Wakanda Forever woman, is it?
Oh, no, that's Kamala Harris. She needs to be out of politics completely. She's terrible. No, Andrew Yang is a very low-level guy. I don't even think he's even debating, but he's talking about, like, everybody needs a check for $1,000 from the government once they turn 18 every month. Like, they're just
what?
For being an American citizen. Yeah, he thinks every citizen over the age of 18 should get a check every month for nothing, which is the craziest thing in the world. Kamala Harris, who has been a corrupt politician from the get-go, who has not, like, black people make it an issue to say that she's not really black or whatever. I could care less about whether or not you've lived the, quote, black life. You know, if you're just being who you are and you've been an honest politician, I don't really care. But
Logic, where do they get that from anyway? Why do they say that? Because she's light-skinned and she has somewhat white features. Like, why do they say that? Why do you believe they say that?
They say it because she hasn't lived the life of a black person. She's not been around black people. She hasn't lived in this country majority of her life. She's basically lived in an Indian person's life because her mother's Indian. And so...
so aesthetically, they're not saying... Oh, okay, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, her mother is an Indian, and her father is Jamaican or something like that. And they broke up. They broke up when she was like 6. Even then, they lived in like upstate California, and it wasn't like Oakland or nothing like that. It was like a college town. And then after they broke up, she went to Canada. And then her grandfather is a Indian diplomat, you know, so she's been running through the circles of Indian people. Like, she hasn't lived any life at all like a typical black person. Like I said, which is fine. Who cares? But when you then decide, I want to be president, You want to go run to a rap radio station and say, "Oh, I smoke weed and I listen to Tupac." What? Why would you say that? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff to me is insulting. Like, this is how you think that you're going to ingratiate yourself with black culture or black people or whatever. And when she was the district attorney of California, she did not prosecute any police officers for killing innocent people who were unarmed. She refused to ever prosecute a cop. And then when they found out that the crime lab had been falsifying evidence in cases, she elected to keep the people in jail anyway. So
wow.
How is she an option? That's corruption to its core. How is she an option? But then there was a dude, I can't remember his name. He's in politics right now. He was working for a bank or owned a bank or something like that, and he was fraudulently repossessing people's houses due to bank loans and stuff like that. And it was, whatever it was illegal. She refused to prosecute him or hold him accountable for this fraud, and he surreptitiously donated like $20,000 or $30,000 to her campaign, which I'm sure had nothing to do with the fact that she didn't want to prosecute him.
But see, the question is, how many people actually do their research on these politicians? Or do they just go by what they're saying right now, how they look, their empty promises?
Right, that's a good
point. You know
what
I'm saying? Like,
yeah. A lot of people just go with the herd. Like, Logic is an exception doing the research that he does. That's just who he is. But a lot of, I say the average person probably is more of a herd. They just follow based on what everybody else seems to do, especially certain ethnic groups. A lot of times we judge, politicians by how they connect with us, ethnically or culturally, which is really kind of ridiculous sometimes, because it doesn't always mean that's the right decision or the right person, that should be in any form of office. So I think it's better to do your research. If you really care enough about the issues, if you don't care about the issues, then go with the herd. And look what happens. That's why we have Trump.
I was about to say that's why we have Trump.
Exhibit A.
People like to pretend that he's a billionaire. It's now been billionaire. I used to hear millionaire. Now it's billionaire. That he's a billionaire, and if he could run a business, he could run a country. But I'm like, have you researched what he did with businesses? Like, what are you talking about?
But you know what I've noticed though, with the people that support Trump, it's not about a lack of information. These people are just, like, most people that are behind him are just behind him because of other reasons, like racist rhetoric, or they think for some reason the country is getting out of control and he's saying what they're thinking, and this is the reason why they're backing him. So it really doesn't matter what he does. They're still going to back. Like, they've even asked Christians, like, what if he said that he's willing to work with the devil and blah, blah, blah. And the Christians were like, well, I would still have to support him, though, because, they don't hold anything.
Wow.
Sacred. It's just, this is my guy, and that's all they don't. It doesn't really matter what information you give them. If you showed them his tax return and you found out that he's not a billionaire and he's not even close to being even in 9 figures or whatever, he's very, very low on money, which would explain a lot of his movement, they still wouldn't no, that's fake. That doesn't matter. I believe him anyway. Like, it would not matter to them that you're showing them a government document saying this dude's a liar. It doesn't matter. It's like black people with Obama. They say Obama was the best president we ever had, and you ask them why. What did he do? And they can't tell you anything, but they still, he was the best. Why was he the best? What did he do? What did he do that no other president was willing to do? What did he do? They can't give you a reason. You know? It's crazy.
Yeah. Because basically Obama did he did some things different, but he did a lot of things the same as any other politician. All the war, killing of innocent people, Obama did the same thing.
Yep.
So,
I think the only different thing that Obama did was just social behavior, where it was, he wished Muslims a happy Ramadan, or he, realized that he didn't salute a soldier, so he went back out there to shake his hand or something like that. Like, that's stuff you typically haven't seen, a more personable guy. But other than that, everything he's done has been status quo. I've not seen anything in him.
Well, I would have liked if he went above and beyond, and well, I guess you really can't go against what everybody else in the government is saying, because then you just end up not there anymore. But I was going to say, I wish he just went above and beyond what everybody else in the government is saying. So, like, if you said universal health care, yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can do. Like, having a president is just...
Yeah, they give you a little leeway, not a lot.
Yeah. So if he said we were going to end the war, he would have gone missing. So, if he was like universal health care where the government's paying for it, he would have gone missing. Slashing tax rates to where we really don't have to pay that much, he would have gone missing. So, yeah, I mean, only so much the president can do.
I don't think so. I think they would have just stonewalled them, where the war didn't stop. I think they would have just done that. Like, I don't think he would have been killed. In order to be shot and killed in front of everybody, there's a lot of egregious things going on that leads to that. So I don't think it's just something as simple as, oh, he's not towing the party line. I think he could have done a lot of things, but I just don't think that was the reason he ran. Like a lot of people think, oh, he wanted to make a difference. I don't know what he did. I think, for a lot of these politicians, being the president is like the Olympics. They want to go and they want to get the gold. But I think for a long time now, the people that really run the seat are people that you don't see. And I think all of those politicians, by the time they get to that level, they know the game. They know who's really running it. And they know that they can't do anything outside of what these people want done. So they it's more about what kind of legacy that they're going to, portray to the world. Like, oh yeah, I'm a great guy, and blah blah blah. Like somebody like Bush didn't really care about people's opinions, and Rumsfeld and his whole squad was a bunch of get down or lay down type of cats. Where Obama was the dude, like one of those Teflon Italian dons that were, come over, come get some spaghetti and a little prosciutto. You need to come, we have some fun. And then the whole time he's organizing for you to get ice picks outside when you're on your way home, because he doesn't want the image of a cold-blooded dude. Like, he got the Nobel Peace Prize, but he's also been the same president that dropped more drone strikes on innocent civilians than any other sitting president at the time. How do you get the Nobel Peace Prize a week later? That's crazy.
He's known as a drone president. That was him. Yeah.
Well, there's still people right now who go around like, that's my president. Trump isn't my president. Obama's my president.
It's like if Hillary won. Oh my God. Man.
Oh,
and I'm pretty sure if you said anything negative against Obama, like what you just said, they wouldn't listen to you.
Oh no, because that's all bringing up everything else. Well, if Hillary was in there, boy, women be like,
it's all about personality, and it's all about personality, skin color, I guess. And, just saying the right thing to the right group of people. That's how cults are formed, let me put it that way. That's why people follow Hitler.
Exactly.
I think that's exactly what's forming around Trump is a cult-like thought process. I mean, it doesn't help them that he's just dumb. He's a dumb person, but he definitely is having this kind of cult type energy starting to swirl around him, where it doesn't matter what he does. But I always felt that. I mean, a lot of people don't understand this about the Constitution either. Your vote doesn't make a difference when it comes to the presidential campaigns and running.
Nope.
It doesn't. Like, all these people that tell you to go out and vote, you're really, honestly, just wasting your time.
Wasting your time.
Constitutionally, the presidency is decided by the Electoral College. So it doesn't matter if 99% of the country voted for one person and 1% voted for somebody else. If the Electoral College has said the other person is going to win, that's who's president. It does. So all of this counting up the vote and stuff that you see on TV is just theater. They're making you feel like you're a part of the process, but you're not.
Yeah.
So me personally, I just feel all of this stuff is distraction, and it is for the most part, because Julian Assange has just been arrested. Now he's not an American citizen. He's never lived here, but he's being charged with American crimes. And they're talking about extraditing this dude for crimes against the state of the United States. Now, think about this. That's like a journalist in New York finding out that China did something wrong and messed up to its citizens. And they work at the New York Post, and they put it out there, and China's like, oh, this person is guilty of breaking our laws. And they get you arrested in an embassy in another country and get you and now they're trying to get you extradited to China to face crimes. You've never been a Chinese citizen. Think of how ridiculous that is. That's what's going on with this guy. So, and then on top of that, he did what any other journalist would do when they're trying to root out corruption. There used to be a law to safeguard against that kind of thing. It was called the Whistleblower Act or something like that, where if you found that the government was doing something illegal in its own laws or in the laws of the United Nations, you were absolved of any crime if you were bringing that illegality to the light. But now they're completely ignoring that and just saying anybody that ever says anything about us is guilty. And they need to face it. They need to face the repercussions or whatever. And people are like, yeah, I believe Assange should face charge. He's not an American citizen. Your average dopey dude out here pumping gas. If you was to ask him, do you think he should? Yeah, he shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. And what did he bring to light? Helicopter pilots that were indiscriminately shooting civilians in Iraq who were coming to a place to pick up bodies or get people that were hurt. These are war crimes. War crimes. He's being prosecuted for that. And then APEC just got a bill passed through like over 43 senators where it's illegal for you to boycott Israel products. Think of how retarded that is.
Wow.
It's illegal to boycott now.
But the funny thing is, Israel has nothing to do with us, so why are you making rules for them?
Well, I mean, that's what Ilhan was pointing out, but you already saw what they did to her. You're not. That's what I'm saying. Like, these are the things that the citizens should be paying attention to: the erosion of your laws, the how they're walking back. Even with this Roe versus Wade, the abortion thing. How can a government tell a woman that she has to give birth to a rapist child? Yeah. Like those things are much more important than whether or not this guy is going to get Mexico to build a wall, or Kamala Harris talking about Wakanda forever. Like, who cares about this? That's idiocy compared to this.
Like I said, just takes the right words to the right group of people. That's all they need. I like when I used to do this. I haven't done this in a while, but at the end of the week, I would put out while you were worried about whatever was prevalent in the news, dealing with like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie split up or whatever. I said, while you were worried about this is what happened this week. I used to put it out. I should start doing that on No Conduct and putting that out at the end of every week. While you were worried about Wakanda Forever, this is what you missed. And it'll just be funny, like stuff that they didn't have in the news that should have actually been like top headliner in the news, like your rights were taken away to, I don't know, drive down the highway. It was like done under the rug and nobody ever heard about it. And you just read these news articles that you actually had to search for, and you'd be like, wow, was there even a vote for this? Because I didn't hear anything about it. I need to start doing that again. Not that people would really care, but, you know, I need to start doing that again.
I don't know. I think I'm getting disenfranchised. Like, I remember somebody the other day asked me, "Yo, why does Russia back Iran and blah blah blah?" And I knew the answer, but then I just was like, "Do you really care? Or is this just like is this just like a passing oddity that you just like, oh, I wonder why? But do you give a shit, honestly?" And they were like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I said, no, you don't. I'm not even going to get into it. Because, I don't waste my time anymore.
Exactly.
Logic. I have a question for you, Logic. So you've mentioned that you've lived abroad a few times throughout your life. Would you ever move out of this country again for any reason?
Most definitely.
Yep.
Most definitely. If I...
Have you ever... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Char, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's just a real question. Have you ever lived outside of the country?
Yes, once. I told you guys that a couple times. I lived in Italy for 2 years, many years ago.
How did you like it?
Oh, okay.
I absolutely loved it, and I swore that if I ever divorced my husband at the time, I would move back there on my own as a citizen. And I don't know why I didn't, but, because I did divorce him 20 years later. But I literally, that's how much I absolutely loved it. And I was able to travel, to Greece and, different other places that were somewhat nearby. But I just really, personally, I had a wonderful experience. Yes, I would, yeah. I've lived outside of the country, and I loved it.
What did you like about it? Was it how the living is over there, or was it a feeling you got? What was it?
Did you say housing? What was the first way you said that? What was that question? The first way you said it?
What?
How did you put that? I think you said housing. I said, it sounds like you said housing. So what was the first question, the first part of the question?
She didn't hear you. That's what you're trying to do. She didn't hear you.
I said, was it how the living was over there?
Oh, okay.
Or was it the feeling you got? What was it?
Absolutely both. Absolutely both. There was a lot of culture. I was in Italy. There was a lot of culture, and you know what I really loved is that I didn't feel that people judge you as much as we're judged in America. In America, it's either people judge you from clothing, your ethnicity, the way you speak, where you're from, all of that. Now, no one judged me from clothing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I just felt such a peace and sense of freeness to just be whoever you are, and they welcomed, my child, my family, like everybody was just very welcoming, and I just really enjoyed just so much of it for so many reasons. I mean, I love the food, obviously, and like I said, there's so much culture, and it's beautiful. It's a different terrain because we have a lot of gorgeous places to visit in the United States, of course, but yet this is an entirely different view of the world, So weather and all that, it's just a lot of reasons, but yeah. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I see the
it makes me
atmosphere
want to
in
travel
other
more.
countries is completely different than here. Even though they are still racist against black people, it's still.
Where was this?
Well, let me say, it depends on where you're going. It's still different than here. Like, I lived in Germany, loved Germany. Would go back to Germany in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
My brothers have lived in Germany and Italy.
Were you there military style, or were you there just as a civilian when you lived there?
Germany was so beautiful.
I mean, military, but you go on the economy, which is the civilian side. You're always on the economy for stuff. So,
you know why I asked you guys that? Well, yeah, but I mean, I think it's a different experience. The reason I asked you guys that is because I was there because my husband was in the military, but there was no military base at all. So you had no choice but to live among the locals. There was nothing set up, period. It was nothing,
well, no,
so you really
I knew people. I lived on the base, but I was friends with people who lived on the economy. So they lived amongst the people. However, the difference I will say is you still go to an American school. And I know people who go to, like, for instance, in Japan, for instance, what do they call them if they're hapas? If they go to a regular Japanese school, they're teased mercilessly. Hapus?
Man.
They're teased mercilessly. Yeah. But if they go to the American private school or the international private school where it has people from all over the world, then they fit in better there. So I think if we had gone to a German school, maybe it would have been teased. I don't know. Maybe it would have been a different experience, but we went to military school, so I don't know. But anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to commercial real quick, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss the racial stereotypes, and we're going to start off with basically how we even came up with today's show topic. And then we're going to discuss what are racial stereotypes and examples that are actually happening now. So if you want to chime in for some racial stereotypes that maybe has happened to you, you can call us at 607-203-5378. That's 607-203-5378. But if you prefer, you could text our hotline at 484-840-3627. We'll be right back.
Go listen, download, and subscribe to the My Ugly Truth podcast. My Ugly Truth, a real, unfiltered, and uncensored raw storytelling podcast about a Jersey girl living in a crazy Florida world. She's got a wild heart and a reckless soul with a mouth she can't control. And Angie is in her early 30s, now single, hosting My Ugly Truth, where she shares her real stories about heartbreaks, co-parenting, and some dating advice, also sharing her podcast guide of what not to do, based on true events. Stream, download today on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and you can also find more content and follow on Instagram at My Ugly Truth Podcast. That's My Ugly Truth, hosted by Angie, getting excellent reviews. Go listen, download, and subscribe today. You can also connect on Facebook, My Ugly Truth Podcast, and follow on Twitter at MyUglyTruth_pod.
And we're back. For the My Ugly Truth podcast, you could actually find them on iTunes, and if you could subscribe and rate to their podcast, that'd be great. So before the break, we were saying that we were going to talk about racial stereotypes, and basically where today's show topic came from. Again, if you want to chime in, you can go ahead and text us at 484-840-3627. So last week, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but Char mentioned the name of a movie called African Queen. And we were saying, I know we were talking about like 1940s or something, so I know there were no movies with black people in it back then. So I asked, who was in that movie, and she said Katharine Hepburn. And so I was just shocked that there was a movie called African Queen, and the main star was a white woman. So that kind of baffled me. And I guess nobody else has I don't want to say nobody else. Not enough people have a real big issue with it because apparently it's a classic movie that people love and it's still out there. But then we were talking about the stereotypes in movies, like how they viewed black people in movies back then, so there would just be like a white person who would put on some black paint on their face and paint their lips huge, and I think that was it, right? And then like shuck around the screen. Am I correct?
Yeah, but Kai, the whole point of the African Queen is you're missing the whole point. It had nothing to do with African. Well, okay, it had nothing to do with the stereotype that you're imagining because of the title. She was an adventurer. It's like an explorer on an expedition. That was it. And if she was in Africa, but I don't. You see what I'm saying? It didn't have anything to do with how it sounds whatsoever. That's probably why.
I'm not saying it did, but it's still a movie called The African. That's like, I mean, have you honestly seen a movie called The English Princess, and there's a dark-skinned black girl on the front cover?
I think we're reaching a little bit, but yeah, no, I haven't. No.
I don't think I'm reaching at all. They could call that movie anything else. I don't. Really? Am I reaching, guys? Do y'all think I'm reaching?
No, I understand what you mean. The audaciousness of the title is ridiculous. Okay. And Kai is right. You would never hear a movie called the Last Princess of Russia, and it's like a Spanish woman in the movie because she likes to adventure around Russia, and so that's why they're calling her the princess. Like it's not going to happen. So that's the only. Well, I don't want to say the only, but when it comes to black people, a lot of leeway is given to basically erasing them out of certain pictures and whatever. So Gone with the Wind is a classic, but it was a very sympathetic South romanticized version of the end of the Civil War. And, it really didn't show how brutal white people were towards slaves and stuff like that because that wasn't really the focus of the movie. It was you were supposed to care about Scarlett and her family and the fact that they, went from being rich to very poor and blah, 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 which, on a narrative level, you can understand that. Like, okay, but at the same time, as a black person knowing the true history, it is a little insulting when you see a ex-slave go running out his way to save this white woman. You okay, Miss Scarlett? Like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean they have that in cartoons also. They have to get rid of, is it the Aristocrats? Some Disney cartoon because it was way
they
racist.
did some horrible stuff towards Asians. It was like a Siamese cat or something. And then it was like a loose reference to alley cats being black, which were, supposed to be rough and playing jazz and stuff like that. It was just really creepy on a lot of levels. And Peter Pan, too. They had to get rid of the whole Tiger Lily thing.
I was about to say. Did they get rid of it?
I don't know. I don't know if they redid that yet. I don't know.
Because
but I know they don't show the cartoon anymore.
That was the one that I was going to reference was Peter Pan because I love that cartoon. But it wasn't until I had a kid that I realized this song, and I loved that song. That was the funny part. And I didn't realize how frickin' racist that song was until I played it after I had a child.
What song?
And I'm listening to the words, and I was like, wait, what? The song where Peter Pan meets with Tiger Lily.
I don't know. I can't remember.
They basically were supposed to be Native American kids, and it was like a horrible song.
Yeah, and they were calling them red men and what makes the red man red and all this stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
The only thing he could say was how and stuff like that. There was the whole thing was just a stereotype.
That's Disney.
And my daughter, she grew up watching Peter Pan, but she's never heard the song. She knows when she gets to the song when she was little, because she doesn't watch it anymore. But when she was little, when that part came on, she would fast forward through it, like always. She's never heard the song.
But it didn't help matters that you thought that they would learn from that and say, okay, we got to be better. But then when they did the movie, they made Tiger Lily white. It was a white woman after that. It was even so. It was like, wow, for real. That's the direction you're going.
I purposely didn't watch that movie because everybody in there was white, and I was like, are you kidding me? And I love Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And I purposefully didn't watch that movie. I was so angry. It wasn't even funny. But it's like, I guess only it seems like after the success of Black Panther, they're putting out a lot more movies
of course,
with
because they're
actors
pandering,
of different
which is
races.
the reason why I told
I know.
people.
I'm not an idiot. I know why they're doing it. But it's only just that recently that this has happened. So like they had that Asian themed movie of like everybody in it was Asians, and then they have another one on Netflix, a romantic comedy, something about something my maybe, I can't remember, but it's all Asians. And they have a lot of black-only movies that's not the blaxploitation type movies. So they have regular movies with all black cast on Netflix, and I know what it is. I'm not like we're all woke now. I know that. I know it's only because Black Panther made like $1 billion, so everybody's trying to cash in on that. But what other stereotypes? So we're talking about stereotypes in movies now, but in just your day-to-day, like going out in the street, what other stereotypes? And oh my gosh, just saying that, I'm just thinking about something that happened to me. But anyway, just in your day-to-day, what other stereotypes have you seen for yourself or have you experienced for yourself?
Wait a minute. You said what stereotypes have we witnessed? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are you saying like what people have expected of certain races, or stereotypes that actually turned out to be true in some way, as far as like?
No, okay. So like, let me give you an example.
Are you saying
so
cliches that we all know about?
Well, let me give you an example. So a stereotype is, I guess, all black people, and I think Logic brought this up on the last episode, which was, I think you said in a movie, or it was, it was in a Shakespeare play, where that woman had a baby or something like that, and the baby was just irrationally.
Caliban. Yeah, Caliban.
Yeah. So repeat what the baby was. I can't remember.
Well, the woman was supposed to be the queen of Africa, and her child, that supposedly she had it with a demon or something like that, was named Caliban, and he was just an over-sexualized, very aggressive and violent creature that was easily distracted by, like, baubles or some some stupid piece of, something shiny. Like he was just really dumb, but, just very strong, aggressive, and, over-sexualized. So Caliban, which was the offspring of the Queen of Africa. So to me, which was Shakespeare kind of taking a shot, at, with the depiction of the typical black man, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so that's a stereotype of black people or black men. I don't know if they say for all black people, but just really violent. For no reason.
Violent, dangerous, and wanting to have sex all the time, yeah. That's pretty much what they think. I don't want to say they as in everyone, but like racist people, obviously.
So basically, with that in mind, so a stereotype that just recently happened to me, and I think I mentioned it on the show the week it happened, was I was walking in Center City, Philadelphia, so that's like downtown, that's like the actual center of the city, and I'm just walking back from Reading Terminal to where my client was, and I passed a group of, I don't know what it was, but it was just a group of old people coming towards me. You know, they're coming north, let's say north, for instance, I'm heading south. So they took up the whole sidewalk, so I moved over to the side so, you know, I don't interrupt these old people because, you know, old people, you kind of move out of their way, show them a little bit of respect, whatever. So this other old woman was closer to me, and as I'm getting closer to her, she grabs her purse and puts it in front of her. And it didn't click until I was just past her, and I said, wait a second, did she just do the grab my purse move? And I said it loud, and I turned around, and I was like, did she just grab her purse? And I said it loud because I wanted her to hear me. And the guy with me, who was with me, he was like, just come on. Yes, it happens. It's never happened to you before. And I was like, no. And I was loud. I was like, no, screw that. Did she just grab her purse? I was like, my mom could probably buy 5 of you. And I started going off. Like, who do you think you are? You don't know how I was raised, so just because my skin is darker than you, like you don't know if my family is rich or poor. You don't know anything about me. So to me, that was like, you know, that's a racial stereotype because you just figure a black person, hey, they're about to steal my purse. Like, nobody wants your little knockoff freaking stupid-ass purse.
Well, if you're talking about that kind of stuff happens all the time, like being caught
Never
in a
happened
moment
to me.
with.
Never.
Well, you've been living a charmed life as a black person. If you've never been caught in a moment of someone else's racism towards you, like that's very common, very common. But I thought you meant like actually witnessing someone falling into a stereotype, meaning like seeing, I don't know, like a Mexican pull up and just like 12 people jump out the car. It's like, wow, I didn't even think that was really a thing, you know. So that kind of stuff. I thought that's what you meant, you know. So that doesn't happen.
No, I'm asking, has what you know of racial stereotypes and logic, being that you look Latino, you can say Latino stereotypes too has probably happened to you. But what you know of racial stereotypes.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm still here, Logic. We lost Kai, but BJ. Okay, so we're all still here. Maybe she'll call back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess she was getting at whether or not I've had, you know, Latino stereotypes or whatever. I don't know. I've experienced a lot of weird moments. It's kind of hard at the time to tell if it's, you know, like, was that racist? You know, because I've been places where I've gone into like I remember one time, the first time I went into a Benz dealership, I was looking around, but I was really just paying attention to the fact that I was looking at the different stuff that they had, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it wasn't until somebody was like, how long we got to stand out here? And that's when I realized, like, yeah, no man, nobody's talked to us yet. And then that's when, you know, I started walking like, I started walking towards the building, but then I was like, you know what? No, let's leave. Because if you can't be bothered to come out, then, right. Yeah, I'm not going to go looking for you. You know, so it could have been, it could have been that they really were busy or they didn't have enough people on that day. I don't know. I really don't know the dynamics of how they deal with walking traffic and dealerships, but, you know, it is a little odd to me.
That is a little odd.
I
think, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking about, I guess she's talking about experiences too, right? So, you know,
I just ignore them really. But I feel that way. I just like kind of ignore, just move. They work the room and move around. I don't really. I know somebody that feel the energy of some racism. I just like don't even pay attention to that person. Because I was like, I get it a lot, but it's like I don't pay no mind. I just move along. Like,
well,
yeah, all right,
so BJ, someone has actually directly have stereotyped you.
No, it's like they give you a look, like a snobbish look. They like, why are you here, and why are you talking to that person? Because I be around a lot of white people a lot, but it is like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right.
So please, like,
no, but there are some egregious things though. Like I remember I was at a restaurant one time. It was a really nice restaurant, and I can only assume it was because I was a young black dude that somehow the guy that was the maitre d', I guess you would call it, was trying to insist that I pay, like we had just got our food.
You pay
and
first?
He was kind of like saying, well, we're about to shut down one of the terminals, so if you could pay now and blah blah blah. And I started to reach like, oh okay. I was like, wait a minute. You want me to pay and we're not even done eating yet? What are you talking about? What do you have, one terminal
Can
for
you
your whole
hurry it
restaurant?
along? Because you're black, hurry it along.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? He was just like, well, no, it's just because. I said, no, I'm going to wait until the dinner is over like a normal person.
Dang,
get out of here.
Right.
Yeah, that's
like, well,
crazy.
I'm sure that had
that's
something to do with something. I don't know what we did to make them like, oh, we got to watch these people. But sometimes all it has to be.
Yeah, public environments is right after some anyway. Or no, I meant to say like restaurant service industry.
That's crazy. Pay before you finish. Damn.
Oh yeah.
That was really messed up. Okay, so I have one example, which I guess this is just one example. But years ago, I went to college for hotel restaurant management, which I'm doing neither one right now. You're supposed to run a hotel, own a restaurant, that kind of thing. Never did that. But my externship was at a hotel. And anyway, so I didn't have a choice to work there, if you know what I'm saying. So why was this? There was two of the employees there who were permanent employees, and I didn't know if it was kind of a hazing process because I was in an externship, but they constantly would crack black jokes. I mean, constantly crack black jokes. I was the only black person there, I mean, constantly.
Black
I was the only,
jokes?
they would crack black jokes, like to me, okay, like directly to me, and sometimes just, on the side of me. But I'm in externship, so it's like I wasn't like, I had to wait for 6 months for the program. It wasn't like I could just quit. And finally, one day, I just couldn't take it anymore. And the particular person that was cracking the jokes, he was like very Shea Whitey. And when I say that, I just mean pale, red hair. It was just kind of, I don't know if that's why. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I felt like super white. I'll say that. But he was just, at one point, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I said, okay, is it me, or is it just the culture, the race itself that you have a problem with? Because you how rude can you be? It was just, I mean, just imagine. So finally, I just had to.
You took 6 months of racial black jokes.
No. It took me 6 months to get in. No, it took me 6 months to get in because it's an externship. So it wasn't like I applied there.
Right.
Right. No. I didn't let it go that long. But unfortunately, at first I thought it was a hazing thing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're the new girl, because they were permanent and I was just an extern. So they were, I'm thinking maybe it's because I'm not going to be here for long. I'm just learning about how to run the business. But then I realized, this is actually directed. No, I wasn't sure. I mean, just imagine you come in. And there's all these jokes to see how tough you are, or if you're going to say anything. It's not, because then I have to report back to the school. It's not like I just went in for a job. You know what I mean? So
well,
it was part of my program.
I think what he's saying is you can't conflate hazing with racism. Hazing is one thing. Racism and somebody making sure that they tell you offensive jokes about black people, that's just racism. That's not hazing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, isn't hazing also to see what you can take before you just give up and so you don't make the cut?
Look,
get it at the end?
Char, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody was hazing a person because they're the new guy, trying to take a dig at them racially or ethnically, that's a racist thought process. You know what I mean? Because if I'm going to give you shit because you're new, I'm going to give you shit that I give to everybody else, whether you look like me or not. Hey, new guy, go down and get the boxes downstairs, and then he go and do all of that. And, oh, what you bring these boxes upstairs for? Go back, take them back downstairs. Like, that's hazing. But to say, hey, Mexican, why don't you go get a sombrero? And that's racism. That has nothing to do with hazing. It's just like when you hear people say, "Hey, man, I'm just joking around." Why are you taking shots at somebody? Like, why do you have a ready loaded joke about race or religion or whatever? That's just your racism inside coming out, because your joke should be like that towards everybody if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. I mean, you know what? The thing is, you got to stand up for yourself. Like BJ said, he doesn't give it any life. You know, he's just kind of like doesn't let it bother him.
I just move along. I think, you know.
And sometimes you're not in a position where you can leave. That was my point. It's not like sometimes you can walk away in a restaurant if you want to. Like Logic chose to stand his ground. You know, you could either stand your ground, which I think is a stronger decision, or you can walk away. In BJ's case, it's like, okay, I'm at this event, and all these people are here. I can feel this is not, you know, they're judging me in a certain way, but the event will be over in a short time. But then it's like if you're in an environment where it's your employment, what do you do, especially when you have to do it for, you know, whatever, for the court. So I'm just saying that it doesn't make any difference. It's just still how you realize in yourself, if you are proud of who you are, no matter what that is, then just keep it moving. Because a lot of people can, you know, there are people that are very sensitive, and people commit suicide, I'm sure, over you know, prejudice and being judged and not accepted because of their race and all of that. I mean, we've got tougher in America, but no, not just black people. No. I would say Indians, maybe Mexicans, you know, like, you know.
No, I don't think any black people at this quarter of the game that we've been in for over 100 years, they're still off in themselves due to racism.
Why?
It might be other people.
Options to why? Because okay, you know what? How about this? Let's rewind. What if it was back in the 40s?
No, wait, hold
did.
on. There's so many options. What are you talking about?
No, because there's so many protected options now. You can't just talk about someone now in an open setting. It's okay because then it'll either make the news. I mean, you can't just put them down racially and things.
No, you definitely can't. It still happens, even though you can't outwardly say we don't hire black people. But no manager is going to say that. They're just not going to hire you, and they're going to make some kind of convoluted reason of why. Like, we require that you have 14 years of experience.
Right,
I have 15.
It's a way.
Yeah, but that's too many years, and we can't pay you at that. They'll just come up with a reason not to hire you. No one is going to be dumb enough to say, we don't hire black people here or whatever.
Yeah,
and black people have been dealing with this for so long. I don't think if there's any black people committing suicide over it, they have been raised in a family that has kept them in a bubble where they've never experienced any kind of racial blowback ever. You know what I mean?
Okay,
they are not prepared.
Right. Well, let me ask you guys this though: if you were back, go ahead.
If you were back, what?
Okay, so you and BJ. Okay, so let's say that you were. Let's do the time machine. Okay, so rewind. You're in the 1940s.
No. You don't. Listen. You don't even have to do the time machine. You can do it now, because when black business owners or somebody who is a contractor or whatever, or somebody like BJ that has a skill and they have to, get hired on it, you have to play this game where either A, you have to swallow your pride when it comes to certain things that are racially motivated. You have to, sometimes a black business has to hire a white representative in order to pitch for whatever company wants to do business, because once they understand and know it's black people running it, they will not be in business with you because of just a racial reflex of
Yeah.
Do you think a black business can handle that's the kind of stuff that
the
we
logic
still
you
dealing
actually
with.
just missed the whole point of what I was saying. When I said let's do the time machine thing, I was going to say in the 1940s, you and DJ, this was the question. If you were told you can't get ice cream, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't walk into this particular restaurant, okay, because you're black, which of the two of you would have the personality to say, I would stand up for myself, I'm going to be I'm going to be the one to shake this up, and I'm still going to go in there anyway, or would you just back down because that's what everybody had to do? That was my question.
Well, I mean,
back down to
it depends on what point.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on where you are in your life. A grown man that's providing for a family, more than likely, is not going to be out there ready to get arrested and stuff like that. That's usually a young person's game. So it depends what you're talking about. Now, if you're asking me, if I was young, would I be down in Birmingham, getting punched in the head at a lunch counter? No, because I would have just moved to Chicago or something. I'm not staying in the South and dealing with that. Like, why would you stay there? For what? What would I need that for? I'd rather just move to the North where I can walk into a diner and order a sandwich.
Well, how do you know that those people were free at that time to do so? What if you just did not know because it wasn't like we had the internet? No, when I say free to do so, no, listen, DJ, I'm saying we didn't have the internet. It wasn't the same type of information. How do you know? What if you thought that was the world? What if you believed at that time? Because people, what
nobody,
they say.
Listen, nobody in the South was ignorant to the fact that the North
I was going to say
different.
ignorance is, well.
No, listen, I understand this. The element that stayed behind in the South were typically sharecroppers and just slaves that didn't leave. So when you have that mentality that you would have to be in to survive as a sharecropper, you're going to pass that down to your kids, so on and so forth. So that's why in the 50s, you still have black people that were keeping their head down and getting out of the way. And I don't want to, because they've been taught that for generations, like these people you're superior. So you don't want to make them upset. Where, not to say in the North that they would be hanging white people from trees, but it was a different element and thought process of, I'm free up here, so I can hold my head high. I can, there's certain things that aren't going to go down the same way, which is the reason why you have more riots in the North and in the West than you did in the South. They didn't have any riots in the South because those black people down there were cowed.
Cowards.
No, they were cowed. Like that, like the law kept them subdued, and they never. Like you never heard of the Watts riots happening in Louisiana. Like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
They didn't allow that. They didn't allow black people to be that way, which they should have been.
Yeah. Wow.
So I would have just been one of those black people that moved. Like I'm not gonna stay. I'm gonna stay there for that.
Yeah, you know what? I mentioned that up because I mentioned that. Oh, hi, Char. Are you back?
I don't know what happened. I thought the show dropped, and I had to do a bunch of troubleshooting because I was going to end the show. So I'm on my cell phone now.
Well, we have 2 minutes left, so welcome back. We have 2 minutes, and literally, but I'm glad you were working behind the scenes. I don't know how much you heard. I only mentioned that because my mom was telling me that she couldn't go to the movies, or at the movies they had to sit on the floor. She and her sisters, for example, and they couldn't go to the bathroom, they couldn't check into a hotel, they couldn't, because they were black. It was overwhelming for me to hear this. Not that I hadn't read it in history, but I'm just like, what did you do? Did you stand up for yourself? Were you the one to be? I feel like with my personality, I would be the one that they would put in jail because I would have been the loudest one.
You'd be put in jail. Yeah, you would.
You guys can
but
agree with that, right?
A lot of people like to say that now, but you don't know what you would have done back then. Like if you were actually in that situation, you were probably going to be one of those people who put your head down because they didn't just calmly arrest us and put you in jail. They'll probably beat the bloody snot out of you first, let the dog chew on you, and then throw you in jail. And then who knows what they would do to you in jail.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people
Wasn't-
like to say, yeah, if I was a slave, ain't nobody beating me. Yeah, till you feel that first lash of the whip. So you
Oh my
don't know
God.
what you would do if you were in that time back then. For
Well,
all I know, as proud as I am, I might have been a snitch. I might have been one of those Uncle Tom people. Like, I saw Josiah leaving. I don't know.
Well, Ty, this is way past slavery. I was referring to the 1940s when you couldn't get ice cream, you couldn't use the bathroom, you probably couldn't check into a hotel, you couldn't ride the bus, you couldn't eat at a restaurant. My mom was sharing some of those experiences with me, which I've heard of, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I would have been the one to cause the trouble, to stir it up. Like, I'm not going to just, if I want this ice cream, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go this faster. Why can't we go? Why can't we go? I could just see myself causing the stir, saying why.
But
someone had to say, why are we?
If you were raised a certain way and this is how it is, you more than likely would have stuck with how it is. Like, you wouldn't have
Yeah,
stirred
but Rosa
stuff up.
Parks didn't accept it. But somebody has to change it, change history, and Martin Luther King as well.
There are
so
not
somebody
a lot,
had to do
it's not
it.
the majority, but Char, it's not the majority who didn't accept it. It was the minority who didn't accept it. It's just like now. It's just like now. There's only a minority of people who aren't accepting what's going on, but the majority is accepting it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, unfortunately,
And that brings us to the end of our show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, I got cut out early on, but I did hear what y'all were saying. But if you have any examples of stereotypes, racial stereotypes, it doesn't matter what race you are, and you want to let us know, give us a text at 484-840-3627. We'll be back with you next week right here on No Conduct Radio at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays, as usual. We look forward to seeing you next week. Peace out, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone. Until next time. Goodbye.
Bye from sunny Las Vegas.
The city of Las Vegas. Goodbye.
Yeah.